If you can hear the music, I don't own any rights, man. I'm Thunder Beer Whisperer. Hey, dude, buckaroos, how the heck are you? So, hey, I got one this week for this weekend that I've had before, but it's been a few years. I actually looked up on my YouTube. Excuse me while I fiddle with my glasses here. I did a video in 13, video in 14, so it's been 3 years since I've revisited this one. But since we're finally into fall weather here, I'm going to a Halloween party this evening, so I want to have some beers that sort of reflected that. So I've got a Scotch Ale, I've got a Porter, I've got a Stout, and to go completely the other direction, I've got a Tropical IPA. So, anyways, so Oscar Blues Old Chub Scotch Ale or Scottish style ale. Yeah, it says Scotch Ale on the can there. 8%, 25 IBUs. This draw-dropping Scottish strong ale at 8% is brewed with bodacious amounts of malted barley, specialty grains, and a dash of beechwood smoked malt, which is beechwood smoked malt, as you know, is typically used in making a Rausch beer or rack beer, however you pronounce that right. A smoke and Old Chub features semi-sweet flavors of cocoa and coffee with a wee bit of smoke. A head-turning treat for malt heads and folks who think they don't dig dark beer. This is darker than some Scotch ales that I've had. The nose is very nice. Yes, you do get some of that beechwood smoked malt on the nose. I get some chocolate, but how I feel it is kind of a malted chocolate. Not a dark chocolate, a milk chocolate, a malted chocolate. How about that? Like a malt ball. Anyway. I got this channel playing, it's called Red Rock and Blues, but they play some country, they play some blues, they play some rock. I just like the mix. But before the song that was just there, as I was getting my video ready, Boss Skaggs' song, Rich Woman was playing. That's a great tune anyway. And now some Tommy Castro, Winnipeg Killers, I'm Tired, from the CD The Devil You Know. We're into an outro voice for no particular reason. Tommy Castro puts on an amazing show. I haven't seen him for several years. He's one of Seamus's favorite performers. Him and I saw him a couple times together. He's just a great performer. So you do feel some of that smoked malt. You get this. It is a malt lover's beer, man. It really is. The smoked malt I get more towards the end. I get the sweetness up front. I get a hint of toffee. I certainly get the coffee is very light for me, but I do feel some malted chocolate like I do on the nose. Oscar Blues does some fine beers, I really do. I don't buy them a lot, mostly because there's so many other things available. But yeah, every once in a while. I mean, this was only $8.99 a six-pack, which is rather a bargain, I think, for an 8% beer. I thought about buying a Founder's Dirty Bastard too, but I didn't because I don't want to have two Scotch ales right now. But I may buy it next week, and I need to save a can of this and try to drink them side by side. The Dirty Bastard's 8.5, so it's a little more ABV, so I'm kind of curious. But this is big, rich, malty, it's luxurious. I'm not going to call it a heavy-bodied beer, or 8% some might. I'm going to say medium to heavy. Kind of a medium viscosity, I suppose. Medium to heavy viscosity. The texture is very pleasing, though. It's a very nice beer on all fronts. Aromatically, the flavors, the appearance. It's one that just works for me on all levels. I like it a lot. And I like a beer like this as it starts to cool down. We're finally getting into some fall weather here in the Ozarks. It's been unseasonably warm so far this fall, so not that I'm complaining because I prefer the warm to the cold. But yeah, as it starts to get colder is when I really start to gravitate towards beers like this one. But I wanted to get the porter and the stout. I found both of those for $6.99 a six pack. So those were my bargain beers. This was only $8.99, and the IPA was $9.99. But it's a 7.3% tropical IPA. But I wanted to have, since I had a Scotch ale, a porter, and a stout, I wanted to have something that wasn't that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not one of those guys that buys one six pack of something and drinks 6 of the same beers throughout a party. I don't do that. On the rare occasion I go to a bar, I never drink the same beer over again. Or I won't say never, but rarely. I will, if I have 4 pints at a brewery or tap room, I'm having 4 different beers. It's the same thing when I go to a party. I like to have 3 or 4 different selections, so I like to switch around. Tommy Castro's awesome, man. If you've never seen him live, you really need to. I love contemporary blues because I think right now pop music today just bites. It sucks. Mainstream music, commercial music, anything getting commercial airplay really bites, man. There's a lot of things you can lay at fault. I think one of the reasons is television. I mean, shows like American Idol kind of breed these cookie cutter talents. I mean, now there's so many stars that would never get a chance today because they don't have a particular sound or look. Now you have to look a certain way, sound a certain way, and if you don't, well, they'll fix that in the studio. You won't get raw talent anymore. You won't get folks like Steve Marriott. You won't see folks like Rod Stewart anymore. Even Elton John is kind of an oddity now. I don't even think, I don't think his songs would, it's funny, Elton John was the guy that was considered a pop star, but his music, especially his early stuff, really transcended that. I mean, Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding isn't a pop song, yet he's considered a pop artist. And it was one of his greatest songs. Maybe not one of his best AM radio songs, but folks that understand music, or you talk about Elton John, that's a song they're going to want to talk about, I guarantee you. Even Billy Joel, man, I mean, he certainly had some pop stuff in his repertoire, but not everything he did was a pop song, and I think that kind of gets forgot about. This is nice. What I like about this, now that I've let this sit a little bit, I've kind of let the flavors linger, is that what I get at the end, what I get is just that Beechwood smoked malt just sort of lingers a little bit, mixed with that malted chocolate. And it's very pleasant. It's be a great cigar beer if you happen to be a cigar smoker. I wouldn't call myself a cigar smoker. I guess I never was. I used to smoke occasionally, but the price is an issue because I like good beer and I can't afford to have too bad habits. But a lot of it is just I don't feel good afterwards. So don't tell my wife this. I still probably get around to smoking one once a year when I know I'm not going to be around her. Don't tell her though. Actually, I haven't had one yet this year, so I'm due. But I haven't been in a few years. When I've gone to the Micro Fest in St. Louis. Right across from where they did, the couple years that I went anyway, there was a cigar stand booth right across from they have these big tents set up across from one of the tents. And the first year I went, right across was the New Albanian tent, and I fell in love with the New Albanian Oaktimus, which was an oaked Imperial IPA. So I got talking with the guy. Anyway, to make a long story shorter, I had a... I had a big VIP glass, and he would give me a large pour. So when I got the large pour, I went and bought a cigar, I sat there and drank that beer and smoked a cigar. But I would tell my wife, let's keep that just between us. Anyways, I digress. Anyway, I'm running this one a little long. So I'm going to shut her down now. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, prolific beer drinker, beer evangelist, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. I should say that yes, this is a buy again for me, especially at $8.99. That's a hell of a deal.